Matt Needham. Welcome to the show. It's good to have you on here.
Appreciate it.
Let's see. Let's make sure everything's working properly. There we go. Is that your vibe? The intro music?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'm actually going to fix this mic.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, just pull that sucker close.
Yeah, that's my vibe. What genre would you say that intro music resembles?
I would say, well, I pulled that off of some free music website.
Don't want to get copyrighted.
Because I was trying to, I wanted to add a little bit of pizzazz, a little bit of spice to my podcast because last year I didn't have any intro or anything. Right. So I was like looking and I was like, what do I want to introduce the show with? And so then I went through so many options and I kind of hated everything. I didn't want to sound like dinky. I didn't want to sound like corporate, stuff. So then I was like, what if I just it was kind of a joke. And I was like, what if I just find like the hardest bumper music I can find? So I kind of did it as like a joke and I sent it to like my brother. And I was like, what if I did this? And he was like, actually, honestly, kind of works. And he's like, it's kind of just like the industry standard.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
So I was like, why not? So then for the moment, I've just kind of rolled with it. I might change it eventually, but I just didn't know if that was kind of like your preferred style. It's called the sound file is called. Hold on.
I'm gonna empty my pockets here.
Stomping Rock 4 shots.
Stomping Rock. Oh, this will be a conversation starter. I empty my pockets.
What is your music taste? I don't even know. Matt has pulled out keys, a large black knife, and 2 gun cartridges.
Yeah, I left it in my car. Anytime I go off campus, I carry.
Are those?
That's
actually sick. That's sick.
And you guessed it too on accident. It's Sig Sauer. That's the brand. Yes, I do like country music. That is my that is my vice as of late.
Country?
Actually, more during the summer. I actually haven't listened to that much music this school year. Just I've been so busy and I can't study with that type of music, and I've been doing a lot of that.
Okay, we're gonna pause for just a second. Tap that microphone. There we go. All right, just pull it a little closer.
I got you. Oh.
No, you're fine. It wasn't picking you up for a second.
No?
Now we're good.
Sick.
Who do you like to listen to?
I do love Luke Combs.
Dude, Luke Combs
he's so good.
I enjoy a couple of his songs.
He is so fun. When It Rains It Pours. Can't endorse the song. Yeah. So good. But no, that's like actually got into older country this summer. I've been a country music listener. I got into a little older country. Don't ask me for any names or anything because I don't remember it. But like I mowed lawns a good bit. That was what I listened to over the mower. Some old
country for me is like it's like summer afternoon music. So I don't listen to it a ton when I'm down in Greenville because I'm usually here like during school year.
Right.
And it's like, it's winter, but like when the weather warms up and it's like a sunny afternoon, it's like the country comes out, and then I'm like thinking about home because like I do the same thing. Like when I'm at home doing, I don't know, whatever work I'm doing during the summer, it's like that's country season. So
agreed.
Yeah,
I grew up on classical though.
Classical music,
classical boy.
That was your That was
we're
was
big
Little
CD
Matt's
family.
vibe.
Oh yeah, we're a big CD family. DJ Dad's always running CDs through the player. We always got a CD player.
What's your classical go-to?
Shoot, dude, anything. My favorite CD we have at the house has been my parents got me a Wynton Marsalis CD. He's a very famous trumpet player.
Okay,
so good.
Do you play the trumpet?
Yeah,
you do. I forgot about that.
That's my parents got it for me. They got it at like the thrift store. I was so hyped. But no, anything like I just like the richness. You do lose that a little bit in country.
Oh yeah.
Like the writing is like the music writing. You don't get any of these crazy. It's not very musical if I gotta be honest. It's just, it just hits just right.
It's kind of like a junk food. It's like,
yes,
it's
that's
like,
so good. Yeah,
it's like when it's good, it's like it's good, but if you have
too much,
you just kind of get a little
that's
overloaded.
So true.
Yeah,
and then like what's classical? It's like a staple.
It's like
it's like rice.
It's like rice but it's like, I don't know.
It's the water I wash down my junk.
It's the water. Yeah. Well, like, okay, so I did not grow up. My dad would be ashamed, but I did not grow up.
You didn't?
Huh?
You didn't grow up?
No. Hold on. Let me finish my sentence. I did not grow up listening to a ton of classical music. And so, no, there was always a lot of music on, but for whatever reason, we didn't listen to like a ton of classical. So I've asked this question actually to a lot of people, but how can I learn to love it if I didn't grow up with it?
How can one learn to love, or you specifically? How can
Sure,
you learn to love classical music if you didn't grow up with it? See, I don't know, I don't know if I could. It's a great question. I think maybe you'd say it's an acquired taste. You just got to do it, but maybe that's not the case. I mean, it might not be for some people. I don't know.
Well, like, I guess maybe, because I mean, I think it's like, well, you just need to listen more, but I wouldn't even really know where to start. Yeah. So like, if you were like, okay, starter pack for classical music, what is it?
See, I actually don't really have an answer for you there either, because say Dad put on a CD growing up. Since it was so common, I didn't really pay attention all the time. And it's not like I could be like, hey, Siri, what song is this? I just hear it. I'm not going to go over to the box and read the back, Mm-hmm. So I like most of the classical stuff I've heard growing up, no idea who it is, what it's called.
You could like recognize it, but you don't know all the details. My
favorite classical, he's not a big name. Leroy Anderson.
I have heard of him.
You definitely have, because they did a lot of his stuff at Artist Series. Okay. He did the Typewriter song.
Oh, yeah.
I love how creative he is. He's my favorite composer.
Is he still alive?
He is not.
Okay.
John Williams is also good, but some people don't like movie music in the classical category. So,
well, that's a good question. Does it fit?
I wish it did. I'm sure somebody is going to disagree with me. It sounds the same.
Well, let's talk about that. What are the best movie scores? You sound like you might have an answer to that.
Oh, dude, I'm going to tell you any John Williams score. Actually, I really like. I can't say Star Wars. The theme to Raiders of the Lost Ark is one of the best pieces ever written, in my opinion. It's the most catchy thing, and it's so satisfying to listen to.
Okay. Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Give me two more that I should check out.
I believe he wrote the music to Catch Me If You Can, and I don't even remember if it was that good of a score, but the movie was so good that I've just put that on there.
Okay.
It's my favorite movie.
Is it actually?
Oh,
dude,
so
I think I've watched it twice.
Oh,
but it's a good movie, yeah.
I love it.
Yep.
Any Leo movie. And then I'm sure some Star Wars movie, probably Episode 4.
Okay.
The original.
Okay. All right. So that's the John Williams starter pack.
John Williams starter pack. Yeah, could be.
I love it.
E.T. is a banger.
Did he do E.T. too?
He did.
And he's still alive, right?
He's old.
He's super old, alive. But he still does. I want to go see him.
His tickets.
Music.
He'll conduct like the Boston Pops or whatever, but they're so expensive.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
I was listening to this I was watching this YouTube video about, everybody raves about How to Train Your Dragon score.
It's great.
Is it as good as people say it is?
Maybe not, only because it's overplayed, but it's incredible.
Okay. What do you think about Hans Zimmer?
I think he wrote it, right? Did he?
No, I don't think he did How to Train Your Dragon, but he did he does all Chris Nolan's movies. He did Pirates of the Caribbean, or at least part of it.
Pirates of the Caribbean, he says.
Caribbean.
There you go.
I've heard it both ways.
No, I'm kidding. Hans Zimmer, he did Batman, right? Oh, Christopher Nolan, yeah.
Yes.
I think his music's great. I mean, he's up there with the greats.
Mm-hmm.
film score writing. I like him, but I try not to like paste celebrity names with everything because celebrity worship has gone so far that I try to steer clear of like who did what. I just enjoy stuff for what it is.
That's probably a good perspective.
Dude, celebrity
worship it's
so bad.
Out of hand.
Like my friends are like, "Who have you seen? What's your best celebrity moment?" I'm like, I saw Pentatonics at a concert. Like that's probably the most famous. Or I went to a baseball game and saw Miguel Cabrera. I know nothing about celebrities, and I like Leonardo DiCaprio movies. Like I have no I've met a celebrity. I've met Mr. Duggar
from the show.
Shook his hand.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's see if I have a celebrity moment. Who's the most famous person I've met? Honestly, I've met less than you.
I don't think so. That's probably my one.
No, like I don't think I've I'm trying to think. One time I met Tim Tebow's mom.
The mom of a celebrity. Wait, didn't he come and speak here?
I don't think so.
Or was he?
I think
there was somebody that was slated to come, and then they axed him last minute because he was drinking on
Trevor
Instagram.
Lawrence was
The guy
slated
looks
to
like
come
a
here.
horse.
Yeah. Well, he played at Clemson, so he was like right down there, and then now he plays in Jacksonville. But he was supposed to come here, and then they nixed that for some reason. I remember because like I heard that he was coming.
He had
early
drinking on his Instagram or something.
I don't know what it was. I don't know what the details
Pastor
were.
talked about it back home actually, because he's on the board. He was talking about.
Oh, and
he likes to bring up Bob.
Was he one of the ones that nixed it?
Probably.
Okay. Well, we've gone afield here already, but I was going to introduce you. So this is Matt Needham, my friend, and Matt and I became friends more recently, as like at least relative to this podcast. So I didn't really know you before the trip, right? I like knew who you were.
That's probably true.
But Matt was on the infamous Mission Team West trip along with myself, Ethan Smith, Josh Landry, Max Barak, Ben the Monster himself. What's Ben's last name?
I don't know, but he's getting married.
Why do I not know Ben's last name? Ben Silvera. Ah. Sorry, Ben. My apologies. And then Caleb Fagan was on that trip too.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, dude, Ben's getting married.
Oh my word, that's so quick.
Not really.
Yeah. They just got engaged.
Well, Max got married like a year after he met Sam.
Yeah, true.
So that was also pretty quick.
A year and a week.
Hey, when you know, you know. That's what they say. That's what they tell me.
Yeah, I know. That's what Max tells me.
I think it's easy to say that when you've gotten married.
I hope he listens to this.
I'll tell him we talked about him. But yeah, anyway, Matt was on the trip and it was a fantastic time. And so we've been friends since then. And then we've done choir together now and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So we've done a few things together now. And then Matt was part of a research project that I was doing for my grad stuff last semester. So we like kind of did a podcast that I'll never be allowed to release because it was for grad school research, but we like did an interview.
You can never release it?
I'm supposed to destroy it, actually.
You can't even give it to me.
Right? I could give it to you.
Then I have to destroy it.
Well, I know. I guess I could give it to you. I don't.
Maybe
I'll send the file to you. Dude, you might actually be really interested to hear it yourself.
Do you think so?
Like,
I honestly hate hearing myself.
We talked about what did we talk about? We talked about how young people view the future, like their own future, and whether they're like optimistic about it or pessimistic about it. And Matt had a lot of good stuff to say. I wrote a big paper, have a big presentation, and I told Matt a second ago. That is good. He's quoted several times. So there's this one thing you said about like the world going to pot and like like that. Every time I read that quote when I'm like presenting this paper, I'm like Matt Needham.
Did you quote me?
Yeah, I told you I couldn't.
Did you quote that part?
Yeah, like specifically
the world going to pot.
Mm-hmm.
But you couldn't say my name. That's so funny.
I say one of my participants said something. The world's going to pot, but
I feel like I'm not like almost not qualified to talk about the world because like I've only been here for 22 years.
Yeah, but like this. Like it was perfect for my research because it was how do young conservative people think about it, whether it's accurate or not doesn't matter. But like the research was you, so
yeah. But now that Joe Biden's out, I think the world's doing well.
No longer going to pot. I think the world's doing well,
The
he
world's
says.
doing well.
I don't feel like that you... Do you actually put that much stock in politics?
I love me some Ben Shapiro.
Are you a Ben Shapiro guy?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Matt.
Well, like, I do a lot of...
that.
I do a lot of, like, CAD design, like, just stuff on my computer, and it's something that I can do while I listen.
Okay.
So I'm like, I need to know what's going on in the world.
So you put on...
I tried listening to, like, actual, like, good content. Like, I've been starting Tim Keller's The Meaning of Marriage.
Yeah.
And I put on, like, a sermon, and I was like, dang it, I'm not fully paying attention to this, and I feel like I'm missing out a lot.
Yeah,
so I haven't
understand.
done that since, as far as, like, doing it during CAD. But, yeah, politics is my go-to listen for politics or Joe Rogan or Theo Vaughn.
Dude, they're the greats, man.
The Mount Rushmore.
It's amazing. I follow this page. Well, I shouldn't share this on here, but I should follow this page on Instagram called, like, Theo Vaughn Clips. Or something.
Yes,
you follow
bro.
that page? Oh man, it's
funny.
awesome. Dude, Tim Keller is awesome. He died.
Did he?
Yeah, last year I think, which was people were very sad. And like I kind of like I knew who he was, and then he died, and so, like then I started listening to some more of his stuff, and he's good. He's
Have you read
very good.
The Meaning of Marriage?
No.
Josh Landry told me it's good, so
Okay, I need to.
I'm
Yeah,
he said it helps a lot.
When I start to explore a person, I guess I start listening to their stuff more than reading. But
Josh is out here exploring people. Beware, ladies. Josh is exploring ladies.
Not that kind of exploring. Anyways, so you said you did CAD. You said you do CAD design. So that's engineering stuff.
Yep.
So you're engineering here at Bob Jones.
That's correct.
Right? Tell me about that. Tell me why you did that and what you do now.
I always wanted to build cars. From Detroit. Makes sense. Checks out. Yeah, so my dad was an engineer. I touched my first Lego at the age of like 6. Never looked back since. That was the second I knew I wanted to be an engineer. No, I love it. And actually, the reason I came here for engineering was, number one, because my sisters came here, wanted a Christian education. And also because I actually visited and found their engineering program to be pretty fun. So that's what I did. My favorite thing to do is just be creative with my hands and just design things. I mean, lately it's been on the computer a lot because I've discovered CAD and, like, just the power you can do on there.
What is CAD?
It stands for Computer Aided Design. So any 3D modeling, lots of 3D renderings you see is CAD. Anything that's been manufactured was designed in CAD before it was manufactured, unless it was pre-2010. Then it might have been on paper. 2005. But anytime I go home, I still touch Legos. I'm designing anything and everything. Big Lego Technic guy, but I design cars and Technic. So yeah, that's why I'm an engineer. I just love being creative with my hands.
What are some of the stuff what's some of the stuff you've made?
With Legos, I've designed. So right now, I'm designing a supercar that's like kind of over-engineered. It's about, the viewers can't see this, but it's about 2 feet long, maybe a foot wide. But it's got. I'm trying to make it as complex as possible. So it's got active. It's got independent suspension on all four wheels, and then it's got 4-wheel steering, which is proven to be really hard. Even harder is it's got a center steering wheel, so you can't run the drive shaft for the all-wheel drive system under the guy's seat, really. So might have to nix that idea and just make 2 seats, but that's what I'm designing right now. I made.
This is with Legos?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is Lego Technic. So it's like the axles, gears, all that.
Got it.
So I designed my own 8-speed sequential transmission for that as well, which took months.
That's so cool.
In Excel. Microsoft Excel helps with Legos like crazy. And then I designed an Abrams tank. I was working on one at work at Metal Ops. So I was like, while I'm here working on this tank before it leaves, I should make one out of Legos. So I did. You could program it to line follow, and it was basically a robot that would point its cannon at you and raise and lower it, and whenever it hit a bump, the cannon would stabilize so it didn't move. That was cool.
Pretty sweet.
And then more lately on CAD, I designed 2 helicopter systems, rotor systems, which I won't get into because it's complex, but I love.
Well, I heard that you built one.
Built one. A helicopter?
Like a helicopter rotor system.
How'd you hear that?
It's a long story.
Wow. Does word really get around?
Well, we need to talk about this off the air, but
Sure.
it has to do with a project I'm working on that may
Sweet.
include the project that you did.
No way.
Yeah,
Is that why you mentioned to me the other day you want to talk about my project?
Correct.
You said senior project, and I thought you meant that's actually not my senior project.
Okay.
But I have a lot more to say about that than I do my senior project, so we'll definitely talk about that.
Okay.
What was the question?
Well, so just like tell me about the helicopter thing you built. I just want to know about it.
So I don't. You know how like when you fly a drone, right?
Yep.
If you want it to go higher or faster, you just make the blade spin faster.
Okay.
Right. You hear it go by, and then you want it to go fast, and you hear, and then it goes. Helicopters don't change speed of their blades, unlike drones. They change the pitch of the blade. So when Dad's driving and you're a little kid, and you stick your arm out the vehicle and you tilt your hand, you're like when you take a bigger bite of air with your hand, it goes up. Pulls up higher, harder and higher. So that's the same thing with a helicopter. If I want to go up, I pull up on the collective in my left hand, and all the blades, while they're spinning, they don't change speed. They all twist, and they take a bigger bite of air, and you go up. If you want to go right, you tilt the stick in your right hand, you tilt it to the right, and all the blades on the right side, on the left side, if we're ignoring gyroscopic precession, all the blades on the left side push air up, and the ones on the right don't do it as much, and you tilt to the right.
Well, how does that work? Because they're spinning.
They're spinning. Oh, I wish I could give you my presentation. I'll show you when we talk more about it. But basically, there's this thing called a swash plate underneath them, and it spins. And there's 2 parts of swash plate. There's a part that doesn't spin and that does spin. And if I control how my swash plate moves, the rotor head, the rotor disc, which is like the blade spinning around, will follow how I control this little disc. It's about this big on most aircraft, maybe here. And however I move this, that's where my helicopter's going to go. So if I move it here, the blades on this side, as they come around, they take a bigger bite, and then when they come around to the other side, they switch back.
Got it.
Beautiful engineering.
That's amazing.
So I designed my first one to be a rigid rotor system, which means they only have the feathering hinge, which twists the blade.
Okay.
Very light helicopters do that. Like little 2-blade, 3-blade craft will do that. Not as many 3. But most 2-blade will do that. Or they'll have a semi-rigid, which has only the feathering hinge and a flapping hinge. That's called, your flapping hinge. And if it's a 2-blade, it'll have a teetering hinge, which is basically the same as a flapping hinge, except for they're connected. It's unique to 2-blade. And then, so my first one was a rigid, only had the feathering. It was 4-blade. And then, like at 90% through the project, I gave a presentation on it. There was an engineering presentation contest. I went overtime. It was supposed to be 6 minutes. I went 10, so I couldn't get first place. They said they would have given it to me, but I went long.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Life goes on. And then, after that presentation, instructor came out to me and was like, I'd like to buy that design for a model so I could teach my students about it. I was like,
wow.
Okay. And then I got to think, I was like, I don't want to give you this one. This is like, because he used to fly Blackhawks, and I was like, well, I'll make you one that looks like a Blackhawk. So my next project, a second helicopter, was a fully articulated. So it had the feathering hinge, where the blades would twist and change pitch. It had the flapping hinge, that every single blade does this independently as it goes around. When it takes a big bite, it goes up and it comes down. And then it has a lead lag hinge, which is really cool. So, and a damper on the lead lag hinge, I'll add. So I designed that, and I'm so close to being done. I've been so close for like a year, and I never finished. He said he'd buy it from me. I told him, nah, don't worry about it. And then I spent like 150 hours on it just on my own time last semester. And then I was like, dang it, I should ask for money.
That's tough.
So, but I never really finished it. I will on my own time because I 3D print everything. So I'll 3D print it and actually have a little working desk model. It's not the entire blades, it's like cut-offs so that you can see how the blades move. But those are my 2 helicopter projects, and I was so passionate about that.
How much does it cost to like make one of these?
Well, yeah, so I'm 3D printing it just as a model. And 3D printing is dirt cheap.
Right.
So if you have a printer, there's hardware like bearings, all that. You could probably do it for like $50.
Wow. And how big is this model?
So this model will sit maybe 1.5 feet wide, well, 1.5 feet diameter when it's spinning. But right now you'd have to spin it by hand and just control the stuff by hand.
Okay.
But I'd love to get it automated and just have like a nice like cherry box that it sits on, and you flip a switch and it turns slowly. Dude, if I ever got that running, I'd make a business out of that.
You should, dude. Dude, that's amazing.
I would say you could make bank on those too. That's what my professor wanted.
Who would buy them? What would be your market?
You'd want one.
Me?
You'd want one
for what?
Sure. If I showed you a finished product,
just because
how I imagine it in my head, you'd be like, "Give me one." No, I think I could sell it. Lots of people just want desk toys. You know,
it's not too big to be on a desk.
No, I mean, it'd be a bigger desk toy. You just sit there and clock out for a sec and play with the switches and go back. I would do it.
That sounds pretty sweet.
It could be a teaching tool for sure.
Okay.
Because it's really hard to visualize from pictures how a swash plate controls the rotor disc. So having that system like as a teaching tool would be super valuable. That's what my professor wanted it for.
And it kind of like it looks like the top half of a helicopter, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Like it looks like from the blade system.
Yeah, so the blades from that scale, the blades would be like on the other side of the room. So they're cutoffs. Like you only get like 4 inches of blade.
Okay.
So that I can make it close to like normal scale swash plate system. So
I see.
It's very close to normal scale, like a real helicopter. It's just a small helicopter.
That is so interesting.
It's just cut off blades so you can actually see how they twist and move.
So you could theoretically build a helicopter if you needed to.
In a pinch, yeah. No, you need a ton of machinery. And
yeah, sure.
You actually couldn't use 3D printed parts, probably.
Right. Fair enough. But
big 3D printers.
Dude, that's sweet. Yeah, we'll have to talk about that.
I could talk.
We'll talk about the project at some point. But let's see. So we were at dinner, and you were telling me we were talking about churches, and I've learned that you are of the conservative stripe, but a good conservative, if that makes any sense. So tell me about how you grew up, and let's talk about church for a second.
Yeah, let's talk about church, shall we? I grew up at the same church my entire life. It's called First Baptist Church of Troy. Love it. I'm actually, for some reason, it's probably dumb, I'm hung up like on music, and like I'm okay. Yeah, I'll lead with this because like it's a big hang up for me. I'm okay with like CCM in very, very small doses, but not in a church setting. I can't do it. And to me, that's like a big thing. And it's not a right or wrong issue. I don't think so. And you probably agree with me. It's just personal preference.
It's your taste.
And I can't, like if I was in a car and someone's playing that, or like it's even my car and it comes up, I'm not going to necessarily skip it. I might. I can't but I could not do it in a reverent church setting, which is how I think churches should be. If you're worshiping God on a Sunday morning, whatever, even Wednesday, I don't care. It should be reverent, which, I mean, it's hard to talk like this when I'm not perfect either, and I don't treat God the way I should sometimes. But I feel, and I've always grown up, so again, this is a preference thing, you know, you give God your best, and I just don't think the culture promoted by CCM is your best. That is my opinion, strictly my opinion.
When you say CCM, are you referring to the style, like drum kit, you know, electric guitar, or are you talking about like certain songs?
Well, I don't listen to that much CCM, so I'm like, it's probably not like my thing to speak on, but the style I just can't do. So
if somebody took like a modern CCM song and put it in like conservative style, that wouldn't that wouldn't get your hackles up.
From from what I've seen, I've yet to hear a CCM song that I'm like, that has more rich lyrics than any hymn that I know. I really haven't heard one that it's always just the same thing over and over and about just how somebody loves somebody, either direction, you know. And like, I don't know. I feel like they're a little shallower, which again, this could be my naivete and not, you know, branching out and giving it a shot. That's fine. You can make that argument. But from what I've yet to hear one that has richer lyrics than a hymn that I know. And that, to me, number one, that is a big thing. And number two, the style is just, for some reason, I can't do it.
I understand that. I remember...
You might disagree, actually.
Well, not as much as you might think. There's some modern Christian music I think is great.
Sure.
My church is kind of in the middle, I guess. Like I think I told you earlier, but we sing a lot of older stuff, but we sing a lot of newer stuff too. And
define new, like, because I might be with you. Like we'll sing,
you know, City of Light, Sovereign Grace stuff. We'll sing.
Example?
We're actually introducing a Chris Tomlin song on Sunday.
What would that be?
Holy Forever. You ever heard that song?
No, I haven't.
But like like a lot of stuff we sing in chapel, you know, like that kind of stuff.
I would say 90% of the stuff that's not from a hymn book that we sing in chapel is completely okay with me. Like occasionally I'll run across a song like, were you in chapel today?
Yes. What did we sing today?
They butchered a great hymn.
Yeah. Oh, Worship the King.
You don't need to change the rhythm. Dude, I texted my brother like mid first verse. I was like, they really decided to butcher a great hymn. I was like, dang, man. But
the rhythm was a little weird.
Worship. Oh, how'd they do it?
It was like,
worship the King. Oh, no, because that's on 1 and 3. No, it was on 2 and 4, and it was just terrible. It was like somebody really tried. It was like somebody's senior project in a CCM class. It was terrible. I did not like it. But no, most of the stuff in chapel that's newer is fine. And like,
sorry, I laugh. Yeah, yes, the stuff in chapel.
Yeah, it's mostly fine.
Mostly fine.
But I'm sure if I heard a Chris Tomlin song and like that, which I don't give it any time of day, which probably I should stop being so close-minded.
Right.
I think if somebody made a case for it, I'd hear them out, and maybe they change my mind. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of value in old music, and I think that we should not like forget it.
Sure.
But there's good new music too, and I've learned that styles are about as varied as the number of churches that there are. Sure. Like every church has their own style of worship, kind of.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it does come down to personal preference. I found that churches attract personality types. I think, and
it's probably true.
So I think a lot of our arguments over like, oh, you should do it this way, you should do it this way, like they really just comes down to like, that's just what you like. And like, and it's not in the Bible. It's totally cool that you like that thing, and so you should go to that church, you know. And like, I think people should, for the most part, follow your preferences, but like know where the lines are, know where
between preference and like this is wrong.
Yeah, right and wrong. But a lot of things come down to preference and
conscience stuff.
Yeah. What else do you have a hang up about? Anything?
We're talking church still?
Yeah, talking church stuff. Or hey, if you have hang ups about anything else, I'm happy to hear those too.
I love a good hang up. That might be my only one with church. Like I do want to clarify, like new is not my thing, not my hang up.
Yeah.
It's the style.
I understand.
So
I was going to say a minute ago,
I
remember, just to tell a story, I remember when I was in high school, I worked for a guy in my church, but we worked for like the county. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But I would drive around and I would listen. I would like turn on like the local CCM station.
Yeah.
And because I was just kind of exploring it. And then I remember one day I was like driving and I was like, I hate this. It was like radio music, and I was I just don't like this. Like, this is annoying. So anyway, I totally understand what you're saying also, from that perspective.
Radio curators tend to find like the worst music of the genre they're trying to present.
That's probably true too.
They're like biggest there's one in Detroit. It's like the biggest selection of your pop music, and they've been playing Blinded by the Lights since 2019, and they can't stop playing it like 4 times a day. And I'm like,
they've got like 20 songs on repeat.
Yeah, they're like the biggest spread of music.
It's true.
Here is.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, big hangups. I think that's. Yeah, church is fine. I'll leave it alone.
Okay. Any other hangups in general?
What's a hot take?
What are your? Give me a hot take, Matt.
Dude, we were in D-Group yesterday, and somebody, I don't want to call him out, but Jackson likes tortilla chips better than potato chips, and that's just, I don't know.
You're not.
That's
sure
my
about
roommate
that?
too. I don't know about how I feel about him after that.
Okay, let's talk about this. So, what's your go-to potato chip?
I'm gonna say Ruffles. Like if we're talking original flavor, we're talking like either Lay's, Better Made, Ruffles. I'm gonna have to go with Ruffles. They're just
like plain barbecue.
Yeah, if we're talking plain potato chips,
okay, let's just stick with plain. Okay,
Ruffles brand.
Okay,
it's like crack cocaine.
Okay,
so good.
See, I think some people feel like that about tortilla chips, and I have met I can get that way sometimes.
What do you mean?
Like tortilla chips can be like crack.
Wow.
I'm not sure what it is about them.
Man.
Does Jackson eat does he just eat them like plain or like with
I've never
salsa?
seen him do it, which is why I'm so confused. If he liked them that much.
I will tell you, there have been times when I've been at Walmart and I've needed a bag of chips and I have picked up a bag of tortilla chips over anything else.
Hint of lime or just plain?
Hint of lime is okay.
Oh, it's so good.
I like them okay.
That's one that I would grab over potato chips.
Yeah, those are okay, but I can down a bag of plain tortilla chips.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like there's a reason they don't make like lunch-sized bags of tortilla chips because I was of the opinion nobody does that.
That's fair.
Apparently
that's
they
a fair point. The market hasn't caught up with some of us yet.
With the preferences out there.
Have you ever had Lay's honey barbecue?
The orange bag?
Yeah, like the yellow orange bag.
Very good.
Those probably the best chip flavor.
Okay.
Out there right now that I've had.
Not the black bag barbecue.
No,
Lay's.
I don't really like.
Good.
I don't eat those.
No, it tastes like the DC barbecue chips, and they're just
worse. They're like softer than the DC barbecue chip,
and they melt. Yeah.
No, I actually don't. I don't love barbecue chips except for honey barbecue Lay's, and then there's a local company back where I grew up.
Okay.
In Virginia. I think they're actually based out of Pennsylvania, but it's like right in that area of the country. And it's Martin's barbecue chips.
Okay.
And they've got Ruffles, but the way that they season those things is unlike any chip I've ever had.
Oh yeah.
And
I have to give
if you ever get a chance to order a bag or
bring me some if you go for spring break.
It's true, I could.
I'm gonna have to try that. Maybe I could order them on Amazon.
I don't know. Maybe I'll look that up right now. Let's see.
What's it called?
It's just called Martin's barbecue chips.
Martin's barbecue chips. Okay.
Let's see if they have an online presence.
If it's a small, they might. If it's like a small company, they might not.
Well, they're sold in all the stores.
Okay.
Where I grew up.
So they got a little presence.
But I've never seen them anywhere else. Yeah, these things right here. I'll show you.
I'll bet they're good. Are they better than the honey barbecue?
Yep. They're the best chips in the world. These puppies right here.
Yeah, never seen those. Martin's.
Yep.
They remind me of those potato skins. Bet you ever had those?
Yeah. Or like the pork rinds. Is that kind of what you're talking about, or just?
No. It's maybe, I don't know. I forget. But they were good. No, those look so good. I'll have to try some.
Yeah, you can order a box for $12.99.
Maybe when I come visit you someday.
Well, see, I don't live there anymore. This is in Virginia. Okay. I live in Illinois now, but yeah, my dad swears by these chips.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Dad likes them too.
Dad,
it's like Albanese gummy bears.
Family thing.
Like the only brand that's good for gummy bears, Albanese.
Albanese?
Yeah, it's from Indiana.
I've never looked at my gummy bear brand.
They sell them in the pod. Next time you go to the pod, grab the gummy bears. They're Albanese brand. Oh, the flavors are so good.
Really?
Yeah.
Like significantly better than others.
Well, they're just soft.
Albanese?
Albanese, yep. Albanese.
What is this?
You've seen
I've seen that before.
Yeah, they're in the den.
But I feel like, see, I see gummy bears as like the bar is so low that it's just kind of like they're all kind of the same.
So you like Haribo and garbage like that? That's not a real. That's like a hard.
To be honest, Matt, I've never looked at gummy bear.
I don't think I have either. But like after having Albanese, I don't know. I can't go back to Haribo or however you say it.
Haribo? I don't know either.
Haribo. Anyways,
so you're a gummy bear guy?
Not really. That just came up because like that's one that's like you have to get that brand. It's like you and those chips.
Is there anything else like that for you?
Brand?
Yeah, like brand specialty, like a brand
Watches.
love.
Don't buy cheap watches.
Oh, you told me this before.
Oh.
What do you have on right now?
This is a 1960s Seiko alarm chronograph. This was worn in, not this exact one. This was worn in a James Bond movie. This exact one is a replica from that.
Interesting.
So this is a Seiko. Before he signed with Omega, he's been wearing Omegas for decades now.
James Bond,
yeah. Whoever plays James Bond, because they always got different.
Yeah.
Whoever plays has their deals with Omega, which is they're thousands of dollars.
That's so interesting.
But he used to wear Seikos back long 60s.
Okay.
And this is a replica. So
that's sweet.
Well, it's not a replica. It's just the same one that he wore. But I love it. It keeps great time. This is a little slow.
Where'd you get it?
Junk King. There's a story.
Tell me about Junk King.
You want to hear? Are you trying to rein this in, or are you just trying to let this go?
I want to hear about Junk King,
dude. It's the best job I've ever had.
Okay.
Yeah, and probably when my life is through, and I'm done working and I'm retired, I would probably still say Junk King is my favorite job. So we would go into houses.
You haven't even started your career yet.
Yeah, I know, and it's pretty bold. No, we would go into house. People would call us up. My uncle died. I'm here here at his house, and we're cleaning it out. We need someone to clean it out so we can put it on the market. Okay, we're coming. We come in. They show us everything that's going, everything that's staying, and we give them a quote. We say, okay. So I used to drive for them. We drive around like in a Suzu dump truck, and we'd say, okay, it's about 2.5 trucks worth, so that'll be $2,000, whatever. And then yes or no, and then we get to work. And sometimes it's like, hey, I just have a couch. Okay, that'll be $200. We'll take it and throw it away for you. Sometimes it's, I have a pile of branches. Okay, darn it, no cool stuff. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it's like, my grandpa died. Come clean it out. No holds barred. And they sit on the couch and play on their phone while we do that work. And the best part, it's all going to get thrown away. So we get to keep anything. Right. So,
and they pay you to take it.
Yeah, it's a win-win-win. I'm getting paid by the company. They pay the company. Sometimes they tip. And we get to keep whatever we want. Unless they're like, hey, if you find, a Gucci belt, I'm looking for it and we couldn't find it.
Okay.
But a lot of times, like, we cleaned out in Detroit, we did a apartment job. It was kind of this grungy apartment building. This pimp had died. From what we saw of his clothing, he was 100% a pimp.
Okay.
And he had some opulent stuff. And I think his brother-in-law or something was hosting us to clean it out. Tons of stuff, like a hoarder. Cool stuff. Really rich stuff. I have a $150 cummerbund from Neiman Marcus from that job. It's a sweet cummerbund. I could never wear it in public.
I was going to say, is that what you wear when you sing for chorale here?
Dude, it's Neiman Marcus. It's got gold chains and diamonds and rubies like printed on it.
Oh, man.
Like cartoon.
You got to wear it, brother.
I was going to for Bible conference, but me and my friend chicken out. Like, it's a bow tie combo. Anyways, so I got like $1,800 from gold and silver from that job. I went and cashed it in. That was a rare exception. That's not common. Anyways, I started loving watches because I would find occasional watch like this. I never kept any really, really nice watches. I did come close, though. Have I ever told you this?
No.
We were cleaning out this one house, and this guy was hosting us, and his brother was a hoarder, lawyer, smart guy.
Okay.
He patented things from Microsoft. He was a lawyer and he was a hoarder. And his law office he had basically, like, throughout his life just turned into a storage unit. He was a hoarder. So piled floor to ceiling, and his brother was like, hey, he called us. He's like, hey, my brother just died. I'll meet you there. You know, he's very wealthy, and he inherited the money. So he was like, he's not going to care about what he pays. You know, we did underquote it, which my boss was not happy about. I didn't give the quote, I will say, but it was floor to ceiling, tons of stuff. It was ridiculous. And the guy was filthy rich, and the guy mentioned, the brother of the dead guy, mentioned he was a watch collector, and my ears perked up. I was like, no way. And I was like, okay, as I go through, I need to keep my eyes open. So I was pocketing stuff. And, you know, to the listeners out there, I'm no thief, right? It's part of the job. If we see something cool,
right.
My friend got,
like,
probably $10,000 worth of cigars from that house and sold it for like $2,000. I told him he got ripped off, but I think he kept one. They smoked a bunch at their brother's wedding, but I should have grabbed one in hindsight just so I could have one.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
But no, so he's a rich guy, and I was like, oh, so he's a watch collector. I got to keep my eyes open.
Yep.
So that's right. No, that's not where. So I kept my eyes open.
Yep.
And I run into this box. And I'd been buzzing all day. I'm like trying to be the first to eat your. It's like a competition. Like if you find something between us workers,
finders keepers, right?
Exactly. And like if you find something good, you better hide it and get it out to your truck, or else somebody else is gonna be like, "Hey, I want a piece," and then you got to split it, right?
Yep.
So I found this box, and inside of it were all these little slim boxes. And I was very new to the watch, you know, whatever. I didn't know what they looked like. And the guy and I opened one of them, and there was like 8 watches. Like 12 watches in it. I was like, no way. And there was like 6 of these boxes in there. I was like, what? So I packed it up and I threw it in a trash bag so none of the other guys would see it. And I ran it out to my truck, stuffed it in the side box, and got back to work. I was like, I can't look now. I won't even go back to work. I'd quit. So I was itching all day to get back home, sneak it out to, you know, take it from the truck to the car, take it home and look through them. And I was like, no way. If these are all watches, because I didn't even look at the other ones. I was like, if these are all watches, I'm a rich man. And I didn't see any brands necessarily, but I wasn't looking at the time. So I get, as the end of the day, we're wrapping up for the day. It was like a multi-day job. So we were going to come back the next day. We wrap up for the day, and the guy just mentions offhand. He's like, oh yeah, and you know, I mentioned he's a watch collector. If you find any, just give him back. And I was like, well, I got him first, you know. So I took him home, and I opened it up. 68 watches.
Oh, way.
68 watches, and a lot of them still had price tags. Couple watches were like some big name brands. No Rolex. There's a Panerai, Bell & Ross, and those were kind of the big brands. And then there was just like this micro brand. That's what they're called. It's a Swiss watch company, but it's like a micro brand, so nobody really knows about it.
Okay.
But they were like, you know, a couple $1,000 a piece, whatever. So I was like, no way. It came out to like $80,000. Price tags still on a bunch of stuff. I was like, no way. I didn't even tell my mom about it. I was like, she's gonna think I stole it.
Yeah.
But in the back of my mind, I remember hearing him say, because that's our thing, you know, you can keep whatever you want, throw it away, whatever, unless they say they want it. And like that night, I could not sleep. I was like, dang it. I wish I could just brush this off because this is so cool.
That's tough.
So I ran through all the situation. I told my mom, and she was like, we'll just put them away for now. And I was like, dang. And then
your mom was like, oh man.
She was like, whoa, no way. And then I don't think I told her about she saw like the amount, and she was like, whoa, well, let's put that away and get to that some other time. Like that was a lot to think about.
Yep.
I didn't tell her though that like the guy had mentioned offhand that he wanted.
Gotcha.
So I could not sleep. I was like, dang it. And the next day I called the guy. I was like, hey brother, you know, I left a message actually. I was like, hey, I just want to let you know, I found these, and I know you had mentioned it, but it was getting late, and I already had them in my truck. Just want to be honest. I gave him a little bit about my testimony. I was like, I'm a Christian. I can't, this isn't right. So I just want to give these back to you and let you decide. And then I was like, if you want to let me keep a few of them or whatever. I got a few set to the side that I'll show you, but I'm willing to give them all back. And I was like, I cried. I was so mad.
tough.
And then the guy texts me back. He's like, thanks for leaving a message. We can definitely meet up, and I'll take him back for sure. And I was like, dang it. He's like, but I'll let you have some. I was like, yes. So I met him at a Best Buy parking lot. I was like, all right. I was kind of smiling. I was like, all right, maybe some good will come from this. And he's like, all right, me and my sister, we're just going to go through them and make sure everything's, we're just going to decide what to do, and then we'll get back to you, and we'll give you some of these. Never got back to me. Left me on red, and then just ended up blocking my number. I was like,
oh, that's tough, man.
I was so sad. But I did the right thing, and I did learn a very hard... So this was the summer after freshman year of college, actually.
Okay. And
I learned that doing the right thing, even though it's hard, is sometimes still the right thing.
So you're at peace with it now?
Maybe.
Almost. At least you feel like you made the right choice.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the right choice. If I had known the outcome, would I have kept one?
Kept at least
we'll
one.
We'll say no, I would not have. But, No, it was a good thing that I did, and I'm glad I did it. This is probably one of the most valuable lessons I've learned.
Do you think that the Lord ever not rewarded you, but gave you something instead? And if not,
I don't know,
dude. Not, just say
I don't
no.
want to, say God's, punishing me or whatever. But no, I don't. Well, maybe, I learned a very valuable lesson, and sometimes that's enough, Sure. I don't think he has to reward us for a good.
No, I don't think so either. I just asked because sometimes I think when you make a hard decision, sometimes the Lord's testing you, and you may not know ever why that happened, but
I got to share a little bit, about hey, I'm a Christian and I don't think this is right. I was hoping something would come out of it, but it didn't. But the guy knew, and he was very kind. He just didn't want to give them to me.
Right.
But it was I think the lesson I learned was valuable enough. I don't need a recompense.
Yeah.
But I felt
it's a good story though.
Sad.
That's a good story though.
So sad.
But a good story to tell.
It's one of my favorites.
Dude, I never heard you talk about that before. That's so cool. So fun. Well, very good. I think we're approaching an hour, so
no way.
You got any advice you want to share with the listeners before we shut her down? What's a word of wisdom from Matt Needham?
I'll tie it back to that. Doing the hard thing is gonna be hard, but if it's the right thing, it's gonna imagine me making some crazy statement right now. That's really good. If it's right, it's gonna be right. No, do the right thing even when it's not the easiest thing, and even if it really, really is it feels the worst. If you know it's the right thing, you're gonna know, and you're gonna feel good about it in a certain way that you're just gonna be glad you did it. Even though you don't want to, do the right thing because it's the right thing, and you don't want to live with doing the wrong thing.
It's going to make you a better person.
Yeah. And some things like that, I could have kept them for another week and then given them back or something. So that's more of a, it's good in the moment. But sometimes if you have a spur of the moment decision and you're never going to be able to take it back, definitely don't do the wrong thing then, because, you have to live with that for the rest of your life. I don't know.
It's good. It's good stuff. I think I don't know. It's as a young person, you often feel like you can get away with a lot.
You can.
And you actually can. But I don't know. I've heard older people say that nobody really ever gets away with anything. And even when you get away with something, it sits on you and it changes you as a person.
That's true. I could have been a different person if I had made that decision. Who knows?
Yeah. You would have been somewhat different.
But a thief.
Right. A rich thief. As opposed to a poor, honest man.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
That's so good. All right. Well, thanks for coming on, Matt.
Absolutely.
It was a good time.
Always a good time.
All right.
Just love spending time with Josh.
I appreciate it. All right. Bye, everybody.
See ya.